So this is something I never expected to see in my lifetime. A zappy charger on the wall there, plugged into a motorbike. This is the Harley Davidson LiveWire, and we're going to meet someone who has ridden one of these bikes from Tierra del Fuego to Los Angeles. It's a short afternoon trip of about 13,500 miles with no charge points all the way. So we're going to find out all about that. So this is the Harley Davidson LiveWire. That is a zappy charger, and this is fully charged. So Charlie, thank you for a start. Finding time to chat with us about this, because it's been a very exciting thing to hear about, because I've watched you riding all around the world and going, oh my God, that's terrifying. And I mean, what is I think always been good about what you've done is you start out all kind of capable and roughy-tufty, and basically shit goes wrong. I mean, for real, you know, people fall off bikes break stuff, and then you have to, that's been what's made those adventures you've been on really interesting.
When we did Long Way Around, you know, that came from Ewan and I wanting to do a longer journey.
Right.
Then one day Ewan said, oh, I've got this idea, and so I went to his house and he had this map of the world, and he said, look, what if we go to, you know, I know we were talking about maybe China, but what if we just carry on and go to New York?
Yeah.
And so that seemed like a good idea. Yeah. Little did we know what
we're actually
doing for. And so when we did that, then we did Long Way Down through Africa.
Yeah.
And then we've just done Long Way Up. And you know, it's been a long time since we.
Yes, there's been a long gap.
Yeah, long gap. There's been like I think it was 12 years or something between them, and then in 2016 I had a huge motorcycle crash and smashed my legs to pieces, and that sort of brought us back together again, and we started talking about doing a Long Way Up, and then Russ and Dave, who are business partners and the two producers who were in the Rivians. As backup vehicles for this trip, because they're electric as well. They came over, and then Russ, because he likes doing things for the first time and he likes all sorts of stuff like that, and he goes, look, no one's done it before, but why don't we, have we thought about electric? And we go, yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah. And then it's cut to us at the bottom of Argentina in the middle of
there's not a lot of plug sockets.
There was no plug sockets in South America, Central America or Mexico.
I'm going to get dressed fully in everything that I have to wear because it's so cold outside, okay? So here it goes. I'm underlayer, long johns, t-shirt, socks, puffer trousers, jeans, cardigan, half jacket, full jacket.
It is the beginning of the adventure for us. We're not experts on electric vehicles. We don't know the ins and outs of how to make it work at the best, but we're going to learn.
Gloves, waterproof trousers, waterproof jacket.
So we found ourselves down there in the middle of winter, and one of the worst winters since 1974 or something like that.
So you really picked it.
We had to cancel it, we had to postpone it for like 4 days because of blizzards and snowstorms. And then Ewan and I, then we came back all this, the cables, these cables, how do you plug them in? They were so new, these weren't for sale yet. The Rivians hadn't
barely been announced.
We had one and two, the first one,
the
1 and 2 that kind of ones that were properly made. And then, and so that was a steep learning curve for electric, because you knew that electric, it doesn't like the cold so much. Yeah. You know, batteries don't perform as much. And so we go, yeah, we're going to do this, we're going to do these miles. And we get out on that first day and we've done like 2/3 less.
Right.
Oh, no, we've done 1/3 less than we thought. And then we thought, you know, and so it was a massive learning curve about all the electric. And not only that, but we'd have to go to the end of each day and ask someone to plug in. Yeah. And, you know, would you mind? And you know, and we were thinking we'd have to explain to them how much it was going to cost and, you know, all this kind of stuff. But really, every single person we asked, you know,
was
said,
okay with it.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
You know.
And then, so the Rivians, could you take a charge from them if you were really desperate? Because they've got obviously much bigger batteries.
Well, we developed along with Rivian and Harley Davidson, we developed this thing so you know, Rivian to bike. So we had a box that could do it and fill the bikes in about an hour, just over an hour.
quite useful me being supremely ignorant about combustion motorbikes. So if you've got a tank full of petrol in a bike that's roughly this sort of scale and power,
yeah.
I don't know how far you can go on that. I mean, I don't know.
Well, I mean, if you have an adventure bike, you can put enough fuel in it to do, 500 kilometers,
right,
or 300 miles,
300, right,
and so that gives you whatever scope. Whereas this is, with a charge in the middle of the day, you're going to get 150 miles
right,
or so out of it. So you had to change.
Oh, what if you ride it, charge it, ride it? That's 150 miles, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what we would do, we would go along. It was good. I mean, it was hilarious sometimes because you go along to find some restaurant because you're not hanging out in petrol stations anymore. No. You're hanging out at cafes and restaurants and businesses.
Yeah.
Like we would
so
see.
Got lights on.
See
You've
a
got
garage.
a
yeah. We see a garage and say, "Can we plug in?" Because their power would probably be stronger. And then not only were we sort of plugging into these different people, but we're kind of plugging the bikes in, but we're plugging into their lives as well. So suddenly, we would be in someone's business.
Well, you're going to be there for much longer. If
yeah,
you're
for
filling
longer,
up with
for a
gas,
couple of hours,
a few minutes, isn't it?
And then you would and then oh, listen, come for some lunch, or we'd be invited to their house, and then suddenly you're sitting there having this amazing conversation with people, and they go, oh, look, if you're heading this way, you've got to go and see these people, or you've got to go and stay there, or you've got to. So there was this whole sort of perpetual thing that went on that was very cool.
Because that's the other thing I wanted to, because you've got so much experience riding bikes, like combustion bikes. So that, I don't know how it feels different to ride an electric one. I mean, I know about cars, but I don't know about bikes.
Yeah, I mean, I think because you haven't got an engine, you haven't got the vibration. You feel more connection to the road, or a different connection to the road. And one of the things we noticed as well is when we were going along, we would pull over and there'd be a whole herd of llamas just on the side of the road. And because there was no noise, you would turn up, they wouldn't go anywhere. And they would just sort of look at you with those very voluptuous eyes that they have.
With the big eyelashes.
Your big eyelashes, and they're just looking at you, blinking away, not quite sure what was going on. But and then, so it's different. You ride through towns and villages, and you can hear everybody.
Yes. So I've been thinking, I'm already, haven't even seen the show yet, and I'm anxious for you. I can imagine you riding along desert road. You go, where do we charge? But then I have suddenly thought I'm only thinking of the bikes, because you've got to charge the Rivians as well. And you plug 2 Rivians into a little cafe, you're going to wipe out the grid.
Well, so we did. So along with Rivian, they teamed up with another company, and we've left this whole phase 2. Charging system every 100 miles, from the bottom of Argentina to Central America,
they installed it
into Mexico. Yeah.
Wow.
So anybody now
could do that.
Can do that. So the Rivians had that, but then this is CCS. So this is phase 3. Right. So we although we could charge from them, but it was just like charging from a normal battery, a normal plug. Yeah. So we didn't benefit from it, but later on we benefited from the Rivian to bike system. So we spent most of our time charging.
Yeah.
One of the most really interesting places we went to was Costa Rica. Right. And a beautiful place.
Costa Rica is stunning.
I mean, stunningly beautiful place. But do you know that the first light bulb ever turned on in Costa Rica was charged by renewable energy? Right. And 90% of their power is renewable energy.
Renewable. And do you cover that in the show?
Yeah.
Brilliant. That's really good.
They don't have a military.
No.
So the money that they would spend on the military, they spend on renewable energy, education, and stuff
the
like that.
really interesting thing about them is, and because my geography of that area is limited, but I've interviewed an amazing woman from Costa Rica, is that they've not got oil. And their neighbour, and I can't remember which it is, does have oil, and it's completely corrupted the government, and it's made them politically unstable, and there's poverty and starvation, and there's incredible wealth, and there's massive corruption. They haven't got any oil. And they're kind of all right.
Yeah, no, and,
Yeah,
and they
it's
do.
really interesting.
And one of the places we went past one of these big solar panel, these solar farms,
Right.
And we thought, look, we'll just pop in and say hello, and so we popped in, said hello, and we said, would you take us around? Because I don't know how
Right.
a sort of farm
Yeah.
works. I mean, you see them going down the M4,
Yeah.
or you see them on the sides of
Some of them
roads,
are
and some of them are massive.
Yeah, yeah.
And so they said, yeah, come in, and especially since they saw
Yeah,
the electric.
yeah.
And then they said, come on, we'll plug you in.
Yeah.
And so we were asking, can we plug in while we have the tour? So
Yeah.
so at that stage we were
Solar
plugged
powered.
straight into the sun and straight into the bike. So it was a fantastic
Yeah.
feeling. But you know what was amazing was when we, on our first day in America, we kind of left late, and we had quite a way to go, and we're thinking, we've only got this amount of battery power, we're not going to be able to get very far.
Yeah.
And we'd organised to stop at one of these fast chargers, and they were kind of new to us. We'd
Yeah.
never.
So that was the first time you kind of
first time we'd
went
ever
to a
used
proper rapid charger.
Yeah, proper. Because when we got down to the bottom of Argentina to start this, Ewan and I looked at the bikes, got them out of the crate, and we realised we'd only ever ridden these bikes for about an hour and a half.
Right.
And had never charged them, had never done anything like
Really?
that.
Seriously?
Nothing. No, nothing. And so,
No.
because they were all prototypes, it
Yeah.
just wasn't time.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we get to this charger and we put it in, and you can literally see
Yeah.
the power going in.
Yeah.
And I was laughing with you because I said, this feels like? It must feel like someone who's just walked up to escalators for the first time.
Yes.
And thought, oh my,
The
look
stairs
at
are
them
moving.
moving. And
I'm going
that was
up
the
quicker.
feeling we had.
Right.
And we had this electric dance. We were so elated. And then
Yeah.
that day, even though we left late that day, we still did 230 miles
Right.
that day. And for us, that was,
Yeah. Right.
from 150 miles a day to suddenly 250 miles a day. That was, and that's super doable in
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
States.
Oh
easily.
yeah. Absolutely. And here.
And here.
But thanks so much, Charlie. I'm really pleased you're back here in one piece. And I'm
Yeah, no, well, listen, and
Really good.
I love what you guys do.
Thank you.
I think it's fantastic. It's a really good YouTube.
right. Well, we might get you
entertainment.
if we get a really terrifying bike. There's some terrifying bikes.
Yeah,
that
listen,
are
I'm
on
up
in
for
the
it.
tubes. Yeah, we'd love you
I'll
to come and have a go.
Yeah,
for
listen,
one
I'll
for
do
us.
that,
Yeah.
no problem at all.
Yeah.
And I've got a charger here now.
You've got your Zappy.
I've got my Zappy.
Yeah.
I've put that in, and thank you very much for coming. I think,
No, it's our pleasure.
Fully
Brilliant.
charged is a really
God, that's good.
really nice show.
Saying that. There you go. You heard him.
Watch Fully
You
Charged
heard-
next time when I do one of the reviews on
Yes.
electric motorbikes coming up quite soon.
Well, that was an amazing opportunity for us. I really want to thank Charlie for talking to us today. I want to thank Harley Davidson, who brought this motorbike especially so we could stand near it. Clearly it's rather beautiful. The show, Long Way Up, is on Apple TV starting on September that'll come up in the lower third. It's really soon. By the time you see this, it's probably already on. And it's gone on for 11 weeks. And I've seen the trailers. You've seen some bits of it on this show. It looks truly amazing. They really do. They do go out. They don't like go, oh, we'll stay in the posh hotel, but make it look like we're roughing it. They rough it. It's really impressive. So that's all. As always, please do have a look at the Patreon link, have a look at the subscriptions, have a look at the YouTube memberships, all that stuff. But most importantly, please watch Fully Charged. And as always, if you have been, thank you for watching.